the goal of a smear campaign is basically to get supply, and that can look not like the typical supply that you would think. Because, obviously they want to get supply from you as the target who's being smeared so that, you start defending yourself, you start, asking them why they're spreading these false rumors about you or,
Mm.
stretching the truth. Because sometimes there will be like little morsels of truth in whatever the narcissist is saying, but they'll
Mhm.
twist it in a way that makes you look so much worse and not provide the right context. And,
Yeah.
they would get supply from you in that way. And they're also getting supply from whoever will listen about the smear campaign. So whoever's joining in, whoever they're recruiting to be their flying monkeys during the smear campaign, they're getting supply from those people too. And it's
Mhm.
important to also understand that the people who are participating in the smear campaign, let's face it, we're out of high school. It's probably
Yeah.
been several years, if not decades, for the
Mm.
majority of us that are dealing with
Yeah.
smear campaigns. And so you have to understand that the people who are participating, grown ass adults who are participating in this high school nonsense, they're not your people. And
Yeah.
they were probably never worth having in your life to begin with. And what sucks about it is that when you're going through a smear campaign, you start to realize who's been fake all along. And it's like a really crappy way to find that out. But
Yeah.
silver lining, if we want to call it that, at least you know the truth,
Yeah.
Mhm.
The narcissist starts the smear campaign and it takes out the trash.
pretty much.
The only thing that I would add is like, so smear campaigns can be incredibly overt or incredibly covert. So they can run around saying you're crazy, like that you cheated on them, that you were the abuser, and things like that. Or they can come out and be really subtle and they can act like, I'm just worried about her. You know, I know she has mental health issues. Can you check on her? Can you just make sure she's okay? I still care, right? It can be played off in that way. And I find like a lot of the time, these kind of really manipulative abusers, the kind of narcissists that run that really subtle campaign where they're subtly turning people against you and subtly making you look incompetent or unhinged or whatever it is, they can be really good at coming in and actually love bombing your friends and family and love bombing people to bring them in order to isolate you from them, particularly if you've got these friendships or family relationships that are a little bit more peripheral and they're not super close to you, or it could be in a work setting. They can be really good because when a narcissist shines that light on someone and they're making them feel special and they know just how to compliment them, and then they come in with that kind of subtle triangulation.
100%.
And it's yeah, and it's true because they do shine the light on that individual. And I think it's important for us to realize is that what I've learned is that the harder they love bomb in the beginning, the smear campaign is going to be that and worse in the end.
Mm,
It's going to be like horrendous. And that's because they've worked so hard to get you and it did not work. So it's
mm,
like, okay, so now I have to really destroy you because I worked so hard to get you, only to see in the end that there's nothing for me. Because a narcissist, let's face it, it's something has to be in it for them. It's a with them all the time. What's in it for me? All
yeah,
the time. And so
with them.
also,
I love that
yeah, what's in it for me?
acronym.
It's a with them
Mm,
constantly. And so if there's nothing for them to come back to, there's no reason for them to come back. Now, the other piece of that is that the smear campaign a lot of times also is so horrendous because they want that individual, they need the attention of that individual so badly, and they want to pull that person back in. And because the person has blocked them and basically, like taken every type of measure to disconnect themselves from the narcissist knows that most people just don't like being lied on, you know?
mm.
And so they pull out that smear campaign and they go hard in the paint with the smear campaign because they understand that, okay, if I tell these horrendous lies, this person is really going to get on the phone and tell me something about myself.
And break no
And
contact.
yes, and break no contact. And then once they break no contact, they're going to lie and gaslight the person and say, no, I never said that. That's not true. You know how much I love you. Why would I ever say something like that? These people are just trying to come between us. And then it just goes left from there.
And it's so important for people to understand the concept of supply and how there is positive supply and there is negative supply and there is sadistic supply. And people think that like, oh, I'm going to get on the phone, I'm going to contact them and I'm going to really have a go at them and I'm going to call them out and I'm going to tell them what they are and all this kind of stuff. And it's like they don't realize that that is supply, because at the end of the day, what is supply? It's significance. So anything that gives the narcissist significance or makes them feel powerful, in control, whatever it is. So the narcissist is just sitting there when you're having a go at them and calling them out and whatever it is, going, look at how important I am. Look at how much control I have. This person's obsessed with me.
So true. And I'm sorry for laughing because it's the truth. They're, I mean, they are just horrible people. But like you said, when you're having a go at them, or that you're just like going in, yeah, they're just like, yeah, they're sitting back, sucking it all up like, a demon smoking a cigar and it's like,
Yeah.
they're just blowing it in the air. It's like, yes, this is so good. Sucking up all of that energy and emotion. And the person is like, oh, I hate you. And they're just like, hmm. You go from being the perfect person to the worst person, like literally overnight. Like, make that make sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
You can't make sense out of nonsense, right? And that's another trap that we can find ourselves falling into when we're dealing with the fallout of a narcissistic relationship. We're trying to make sense out of it. But once you recognize that like it was all nonsense the entire time, that was never supposed to make sense. And it doesn't make sense because they confuse you on purpose, because confused people are easier to control. So
Yeah.
when they go from, you're the most amazing person in the world to all of a sudden they hate you and they are smearing your name to whoever will listen, they have you under their control because that's so confusing. So you're more likely to act on that confusion and,
Yes.
ask for clarification, right? And then you break the no contact, and then they can repeat that whole cycle of abuse all over again, rinse and repeat over and over and over.